Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to another edition of the Counted Out Watch Along series. My name is Tyler, and I am joined today by my favorite Count Along Watch Along partner. That is a tongue twister. The co-host of the Good Friends Better Enemy podcast, the one and only Jay. How are you, my friend?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I love it, man. And take a look what we're watching now. We are back in the legendary Calgary Pavilion, Stampede Wrestling, 1987. Very rare thing here. You have WWF superstar Bret the Hitman Hart from the Hart Foundation versus WWF superstar Davey Boy Smith from the British Bulldogs in a Stampede Wrestling ring. How cool is this, Jay?
I absolutely adore this. When you first presented this to me as a watch along, I was a little skeptical because it was old school Stampede. But seeing Bret with his pink and black tights, seeing Bulldog with his baby blue tights, seeing them wrestle together in this incredibly articulate match is such a fan favorite for me. I love this.
Well, and I love watching that knee into the flip there. That's a classic Brett Bulldog spot. And on top of that, we are 5 years away from these guys headlining one of the biggest events in the history of the company at SummerSlam 92. Like, this is really cool for me, man.
This is outstanding, and I was just thinking about Bret Hart's Hall of Fame speech when he talked about mixing a little bit of red and a little bit of white together, and it becomes pink. His love of Canada and his love of being a Canadian wrestler, being from Calgary. I just absolutely love his representation here. I love that he's facing the Bulldog. This is like foreshadowing the rivalry that they obviously went on to have at SummerSlam 92, plus going on to the In Your House season's beatings in December of 1995. They had a phenomenal match there. I'd argue it's a better match than the one at Wembley. This is just a phenomenal foreshadowing of what was to come.
Yeah, man, I'm not going to argue with you on that point. Their match in '95 at that In Your House is one of the most underrated title matches in the history of the WWF. And smooth transition there. Gotta love the mat work. Bret and the Bulldog, classic stuff here, eh?
It's outstanding, and you see the psychology already at this point in 1987. They already have the psychology in the match so well in hand. You see Bret playing heel, obviously, to the crowd right now, being Stu Hart's kid. You know, he's playing heel to the crowd, being Stu Hart's kid. But it's just such a phenomenal expose of psychology for both of them.
How special do you think this match is for Bret especially, but for the Bulldog as well, who really made his name in the Stampede Wrestling to come back and I think at this point Bruce Hart was kind of in charge of it, but to be back in this famous arena where Bret really cut his teeth to this, got to be a cool feeling for Bret to be back in here at this point in his career, right?
No, I think so, without a doubt. I think there's also a part of that there's a little bit of envy, I dare say jealousy involved with some of the Hart brothers who would have liked to have been more marquee stars in wrestling after Stu sold to Vince in the early
Bruce
80s.
Hart, Bruce Hart.
Excuse me, yes, Bruce Hart, who always took a extra liberty with whatever angle he was involved with. But yes, no, I wholeheartedly agree. I think that there's a moment in time here watching these two who had become established stars in the WWF at the time, coming back to Stampede and putting on this exhibition of, again, pure psychology and phenomenal ring finesse and technique. It's such a credit to the Stampede organization and a love letter to what they learned in Calgary.
And as you make that great point, you see some vintage British Bulldog with a beautiful suplex there. Man, I'm struggling to find words of how cool this is. And the Bulldog just looks in incredible shape. This is March of '87, so I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head if the Hart Foundation and the Bulldogs are the tag team champions here, but again, to come back home to Calgary and be on top of the biggest wrestling promotion in the world at that time, and they were on fire at this time, and to have this has just got to be so amazing for both these guys.
He's going for the big suplex. Oh, it was Henning.
Oh, beautiful.
Where in your mind do you think that Davey Boy Smith had the peak of his career?
For me, it's either a toss up between his run from 91 to 92 or his 95 heel turn to 97.
See, I've always been wholeheartedly of the notion that the greatest tag team of all time is the Bulldog and Owen Hart, in my mind. So seeing Bulldog with Owen in 97 and the latter part of 96, I think that the two of them were absolutely outstanding. Had they had more of a title run, a little bit more longevity, I think they would have been more established. But I think without question, it was 96, 97 for me with Bulldog.
See, and for me, I'm a British Bulldog, Mark. The Dynamite Kid is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. You know, I just think him and the Bulldog are one of the best tag teams to ever step in the ring. So I share your sentiment with the Bulldog, but I have a different tag team partner as my favorite.
See, and I think that Dynamite's absolutely fantastic, and I think that he's extremely underrated in his contributions to. Oh my God!
Wow, the strength of the Bulldog. Wow.
For those of you not watching this right now, Davey Boy Smith legitimately just military pressed Bret all the way into the ring from the entrance.
What a slingshot. Oh, I love the knees up too, man. These guys are telling a story. Absolutely.
But seriously, like, I'm not even kidding. This is incredible psychology for this point in your career. Everybody talks about the SummerSlam 92 match, and there's a lot of backstory with that match and Bulldog and what his mental state was and things of that nature. But this right here, this match in 1987 is absolutely incredible.
100%. And 87, now correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, because I'm not great with numbers, and I'm not sure if you're going to know this off the top of your head. Is this 87 the year of WrestleMania 3?
That's right, yes. March 29th.
So we're literally 19 or 19 days away from WrestleMania at this point.
That's right, and they did the 6-man tag.
Yep, that's right, with Tito and Danny Davis. So the Hart Foundation are the legitimate tag team champions of the world right now.
And they are playing the consummate heels in that program as well.
What's cool about Stampede Wrestling at this time is you're a year or two away from I believe actually it might even be this time. You've got Brian Pillman making a name for himself right now. You've got Owen Hart, Chris Benoit. They're all making a name for themselves in the industry at this point as debuting rookies.
Well, I think that this match is sort of an exhibition of what was of Stampede Wrestling a few years earlier. I think that seeing this match right now is sort of like a nod or a testament to near fall there, sorry. A nod or a testament to what it is to have come from Stampede Wrestling. These two guys right now are putting on this clinic for the crowd at the Corral in Calgary. And they're doing this for fans that in many ways put them on the map in terms of star power.
Oh, here we go.
Ooh,
piled. Is the Bulldog busted open right now as well?
I think he's doing color, yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's hard way.
Do you think that Stampede Wrestling doesn't get the respect it deserves as one of the promotions that really paved the way for some of the greatest superstars in our industry?
I think without question. I think that Stampede, in my mind, is more relevant and more important in the history of wrestling than WCCW out of Dallas and things of that nature. I think that Calgary doesn't get nearly the respect it deserves in terms of its contributions to the business. Another military press there. He
crotched him. That's a huge spot.
This is shades again of their matches going forward a few years later.
Absolutely. You see a lot of these spots, and Bret refers to this in his book too, that around this time frame they were doing the Stampede style in the house shows and really winning the crowd over, right?
Yeah. They talked about how
there's classic Bret Hart. That's amazing.
There'll never be anybody else in the history of wrestling that will ever take a sternum first turnbuckle better than Bret Hart.
No, and no one should even try.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. But to your point earlier about the house show business, seeing Bret and Anvil versus Bulldog and Dynamite. And also the Hart Foundation versus the Killer Bees, or the Hart Foundation versus the Dream Team. So many iterations of tag teams that the Hart Foundation faced in this era. They were the best match on the card without question.
What do we got going on here? Who's this coming in the ring? I don't know who that is. Is that Dynamite?
I don't think so.
I can't tell. Obviously, the camera work is...
Keith Hart.
That could be Keith. Bret is clearly shaken. This is a weird little finish of the match. Bret's out of here. Very strange finish of the match. Bulldog is... that is a Dynamite Kid.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
No, that's definitely him for sure. I got a good look at him before the camera went off there. Great match with a very weird finish, but let's put a bow on this, Jay. What's your overall thoughts about a little bit of Stampede wrestling there?
I think that seeing those two athletes who went on from Stampede to become huge superstars, global superstars in the WWF in the late 80s, mid to late 80s, I think it was a phenomenal expose of their talents. And I think that it was a phenomenal display of what they were capable of, not necessarily given that opportunity on a worldwide stage in the 80s of WWF.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. And for me, just as a Canadian boy and someone who loves Stampede Wrestling, very cool to see these guys at the very early stages of starting to hit the peak of their career, getting a chance to go back home and doing right by dad. You know what I mean? Very cool stuff. If you guys are watching this, clearly you're on our YouTube page, so make sure you guys are checking out the Good Friends Better Enemies podcast with Jay and Tyrone. You guys are doing a great job over there, man. Love the fantasy booking that you guys do. Anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
Well, I think that what was the bottom line of the situation was that Davey Boy was going to win the match, whether he wanted to or not.
Oh, that's a great way to end this, man. On behalf of Jay and the Good Friends and Better Enemies podcast, I am Tyler from Counted Out with Mike and Tyler, and you have been counted out. Cheers.